Alright, story time with Liz this time, but I'll show you pictures while reading the book. Tonight's story is The Lion King. The Lion King. As the morning sun rose high above the African plain, animals and birds gathered at the foot of Pride Rock. "There he is!" one of them cried suddenly. "There's the new prince!" Everyone cheered and stamped their feet. "Welcome, Prince Simba," they shouted. They watched as in silence as Rafiki, the wise old baboon, raised the lion club high in the air. The clouds parted as the sun rays shone down on the future king. Slowly Rafiki lowered his arms and took Simba back on his proud parents, King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi, on this very special day. Time passed quickly for little Simba. There was no much to learn one morning. The king showed his son around the kingdom. "Remember," and Mufasa warned, "as a good king must respect all creatures, for we exist in the great circle of life." Later that day, Simba met his uncle, Scar. The cub proudly told him that he had seen the whole of his future kingdom, even beyond the northern border. Scar asked silently. "Well, no," said Simba sadly. My father has forbidden me to go there." "He's quite right," said Scar. "Only the brave lions go there. An elephant graveyard is no place for a young prince." So Simba hurried away to find his best friend, a young lioness called Nala. Even though he knew it was wrong, Simba had decided to visit the elephant graveyard with Nala that very day. He had no idea that Scar ordered 3 hyenas to go to the elephant graveyard too. Scar wanted him to kill the cub as the first step to his plan to take over Mufasa's kingdom. Simba raced ahead, crossed the plains, leading Nala to the Forbidden Land. Eventually they reached a pile of bones, and Simba knew they have arrived. "It's creepy here," said Nala. "Where are we?" "This is Elephant Graveyard," Simba cried. He was looking at the skull when he saw Zazu, his father's advisor. "You must leave here immediately," Zazu commanded. "You are in great danger," but it was already too late. They were trapped. The 3 hyenas had them surrounded, laughing instantly. Simba took a deep breath and tried to roar, only a squeak rumble came out. The hyenas laughed hysterically. Simba took another deep breath. Roar! The 3 hyenas looked around into the eyes of King Mufasa. Hyenas had fled howling to the mist. Mufasa sent Nala and Zazu ahead, walking slowly home with his son. "Simba, I'm very disappointed in you. You disobeyed me, which you put the others in great danger." Simba felt terribly. "I was only trying to be brave like you," he tried to explain. "Being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble," said the king gently. The moon shone brightly above them, and the stars twinkled in the dark sky. Mufasa stopped. "Look at the stars. From there and the great kings from our past look down at those stars. Just remember, they'll always be there to guide you, and so will I." Simba nodded. I'll remember. By the next day, Scar had devised another plan to get rid of Mufasa and Simba. He led Simba in the bottom of the gorge and told him to wait for his father. Then the hyenas started a stampede among the herd of wild beasts. At that moment, Mufasa was walking along a ride with Zazu. "Simba!" he cried. "I'm coming!" The king raced down to the gorge to rescue his son, but he could not save himself. He fell into an overhanging rock, and the wild beast swept by him. Looking up, he saw his brother. "Scar, help me!" he cried. But Scar just leaned over and whispered, "Long live the king." Then he pushed Mufasa in the path of the stampede wild beast. When the stampede was over, Simba ran to his father's side. "Father," he whimpered, nuzzling Mufasa's mane. And the king did not reply. Simba started sobbing. "Simba," said Scar coldly, "what have you done? This is all your fault. You lied. The king is dead, and you must never show your face in the Pride Rock. Run and never return." As Scar returned to take the royal throne of the Pride Rock himself, Simba stumbled, exhausted and frightened, through the grasslands towards the jungle. He took a few more shaky steps and collapsed. A hungry vulture circled above him. Eventually, Simba opened his eyes, and the warthog, called Pumbaa, and Timon, a meerkat, were gazing down at him. They poured their water into the dry mouth. "You nearly died," said Pumbaa. We saved you." "Thanks for your help," said Simba, "but it doesn't matter. I'm nowhere to go." "Why not stay with us?" said Timon kindly. "We'll put your past behind you, remember? Hakuna Matata." "No worries." "That's the way we live." Simba thought for a moment, then he decided to change, stay in the jungle with his new friends. Many years later, deep in the cave, Rafiki stared at a picture of the lion. "It is time," he said, smiling. Appeared to leave. The very next day, Simba rescued Pumbaa from a hungry lioness. It was Nala. The two friends were delighted to see each other again. Nala told Simba about Scar's region of terror of the Pride Rock, she begging him to return. "With you alive, Scar has no right to the throne," she said. "I can't go back. I'm not fit to be king," Simba said sadly. "You could be," Nala told him. Simba showed Nala his favorite place in the jungle. "It's beautiful," she said. "You can't see why you like it, but it's not your home. You're hiding from the future." She turned and left her friend alone. Oh dear. That night, Simba laid from the stream, thinking. He heard a noise and looked up. "Come with me, Rafiki," said Rafiki. "I will take you to your father." Simba followed him to the wandering edge of the stream. As Simba looked into the water, his reflection gradually changed into shape and becoming his father. The reflection rose to the sky, and Simba heard Mufasa's voice. "Simba, you must take your place in the circle of life. You are my son and one true king." Then the reflection and Rafiki disappeared. Back at Pride Rock, the rains had been late coming, and the land was dry. The hyenas pacing impatiently around King Scar. "They're starving," they howled. "We're starving," they howled. "The herds have gone, and there's nothing left to eat." Storm clouds gathered in the sky. Lightning bolts scalded the earth, and the dry grass caught fire. The flame towards the Pride Rock. A lion appeared through the smoke. It was Simba. Scar longed at Simba and determined to kill him as he had Mufasa. In the fearless battle that followed, Simba finally heft Scar over the cliff face. Scar called to the hyenas to save him, but Nala and the lioness drove them back. Simba was victorious. Nala went to Simba's side. "Welcome home," she whispered, as they smiled at each other, and it started to rain. The heavy drops soiled in the dry ground, and the storm beds filled up once more. The plains came back to life, and the herds returned. One dawn, the animals and the birds made their way back again to the foot of Pride Rock, watching by the lions. Pumbaa and Timon and Rafiki picked up a tiny cub. They showed the new prince, the son of King Simba and Queen Nala, to the cheering crowd below. The night the Simba watched the stars rise in the sky. "Everything's all right, father," he said softly. "You'll see, I remember." And the stars seemed to twinkle in reply. The end. Good story, don't you think?